Hey love, let us draft basic body pattern today. Please, before we go ahead to draft this, please go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment on this video below. Thank you very much. So first thing first, we have to divide our shoulder by 2. Then we'll mark it. My shoulder divided by 2 is 7. Then I have to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then for the neck depth, I'm taking 3 inches, and from the width 3 inches. Then the next thing is to connect the shoulder slope to the neckline, which I've just done, and to mark out our neck curve. So the next thing, we have to mark out our chest line. For us to get our chest line, you divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Then from the shoulder slope, I'll mark out my bust point. Then from shoulder slope to waist, from shoulder slope to under bust, and shoulder slope to full length of the pattern. So from here, I'm ruling out my chest line. Then this next line is my bust point, the next one is my under bust, and this other one is my waistline. So I'm trying to label it, as you can see. So the next thing I will do is to connect my shoulder slope to my chest line with a straight line, just as I'm doing now. Then after that, I'll have to mark out my armhole curve. For me to do that, I have to divide my shoulder to chest line by 2, then impute the chest line measurement, which is 6.5. Then from the chest line, I have to mark 2 inch away from the chest line. So I'm using my curve ruler to connect the shoulder to the chest line, then forming a curve. You can use your free hand, but if you still have this curve rule, is okay. So the next thing I have to do is to impute my bust span measurement. My bust span is also called nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 7 inches. Then 7 inch divided by 2 is 3.5. That is the line that you saw that I marked there. So I have to mark it to the full length of the pattern. Then I'm connecting that line together to form a straight line. So the next thing is to impute my dart. From my waist, I'm taking ½ inch on both sides. Then from the hemline, I have to come up by 1.5. Then from the bust line, I'll go down by 1.5 inch, so that the bust point will not be pointed. So I'm trying to connect my darts together, as you can see. So the next thing I'll be doing is to take my shoulder dart. For me to do that, I have to measure the shoulder. The figure I get, I think I got 4 there. Then I have to divide it by 2, then connect it to the bust point. Then after that, I have to take ½ inch on both sides of the shoulder to take out my dart from there to avoid shoulder burden. So from the bust point, I came up by 1 inch, then connect the ½ inches that I came out by. So now I have to impute my measurement. The first thing I'm doing is to mark my bust measurement, which is 36 divided by 4, which is 9. So exactly what I'm doing, I'm marking out all my measurements divided by 4. So the next thing to do is to connect all my dotted lines from the chest line to the hem of the pattern. So that is it for the front block, and now we are about to draft the back. So for me to do that, I have to mark out the border line just as we did to the front, and I'll be going in by 1 inch. You can also use this border line for the zipper allowance since the back will be needing zipper. So this is the shoulder line. I'm also using 1 inch to mark out the border line. So the first thing to do to the back is to divide your shoulder by 2 inches, then come down by 1/2 inch for the shoulder slope, then mark out my neck width and my neck depth. For the neck width, I use 3 inches. For the depth, I use 1 inch. Then I connected the shoulder to the neck and mark out my neck curving. So the next thing to do is to mark out my vertical measurement. So from shoulder to the chest line first. So I'm marking out the chest line. Then I'm trying to connect the chest line to the shoulder line with a straight line. So I'm trying to get my armhole curve. After that, I'll still continue with marking out my vertical lines from shoulder to waist, because there's no bust point here. This is the back, there's no bust at the back, so we'll not be needing the bust line. Then the full length of the back, you have to measure your back length to get these measurements. Mine, I think here is 17, and mind you, the back length is always shorter than the front length. So now I'm trying to impute my darts. Here the dart will be stopping at the chest line. For the front, the dart stop at the bust line, so it will be the chest line. So I took 1/2 inch on both sides and connect it to the chest line. That is it for the back darts. So the next thing is to curve my armhole. You can actually use freehand to do this, but when you have this armhole curve, is much easier to curve. Then the next thing to do is to impute my measurements, the chest line divided by 4 and the waist divided by 4. I'll now add my dart allowance, because that dart there will be cutting it out, so I added it. So that is it for this. So for the front, I have to take my bust dart so that it can measure up with the back. You know, the back is always shorter, so we have to use this bust dart to make it equal. So from the bust, I came down by 1/2 inch. Sorry, I came down by 1.5 inch, and I connected it to the bust tip. So those lines that I'm shading are the points that I will be marking out. That is the dart area. So that is it for the front pattern and the back pattern. So the next thing to do is to cut it out.